Hey everyone, I'm back. It is Tasty Tuesday and I have a lot going on and a lot to share, so let's get to it. Today's inspiration behind the video is I was cold and I'm still cold. I have a cold. I'm a health and fitness coach, but I love to share certain hacks and things that I do in the kitchen to help keep you on track, and so today is one of those days. So I said that I was making soup today because I was sick of this cold spring weather, and so that's what we're going to do. In my freezer I have some beef frozen in some beef broth, and that's what I do when I have some spare time. We have our own beef, and so I will tackle a couple packages of soup bones at a time, and then strain it all off and debone it, and then actually put it in a container in the freezer for later, because making soup all at once is a chore, and so I kind of like to do it in steps. And so I already have some carrots prepped, and so when I come home tonight with the kids, it'll just be the soup and the broth, the vegetables, and then instead of a noodle, we like to do barley with our beef vegetable soup. But since yours truly is trying this gluten-free thing, we are having sorghum. Now sorghum is super good for you. Like a lot of grains, it is heart healthy, like barley, but it is higher in fiber, and it's very high in iron, and it's really good for your digestive tract because of the fiber, and it's just one of those things that you should have in your diet. And it's one of those things that we haven't really seen in the local grocery stores. We haven't really latched onto it, but it cooks up a lot like barley for applications like that, but it just takes a lot longer. And so if you think the longer something takes to cook, generally the better for you it is. So I have this pot of sorghum. So when the soup is done, I'll already have the cooked sorghum, and then I'll just add it so it doesn't get the soup all cloudy, and then I have an extra grain in the fridge. Now, when I got the sorghum out, I was reading the package because I couldn't remember the ratios, but it also said that you could pop sorghum. Check this out. It's like the cutest little baby popcorn you have ever seen. It really, truly does. I just used a paper bag. Now, when I pop popcorn, sometimes I'll use healthy microwave popcorn for my kids, or I'll just pop some in a brown paper sack for myself. And that's all I did here. How cute would this be for a baby shower? It's just like popcorn, only it's better for you. How cool. Cute. Okay, so there's that. So now for the other leftovers that I said, one of them was the soup. Last week I made a Mother's Day quiche with these fancy little ribbons, and that turned out great, and I kind of forgot these in the back of the fridge. I knew that I would use them, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have these all ready to go. So of course I'm going to do a little stir fry. Now I'm going to make this for myself, but if I were doing it for my kids, I would just throw in some broccoli, because they do eat sauteed broccoli, so I'm good with that as a family meal. Now I had some leftover broth from some roasts that I made, so I'm going to saute these up real quick in some olive oil, and they're a little bit dry, and so I'm going to add a little bit of this broth. And then at the end, you've seen this really good recipe floating around on Facebook with the stir fry. So I am going to add a little bit of this with some cornstarch and maybe a bit of honey, and then I will grate in some ginger, and the stir fry is done in literally like 3 minutes. I have some, like I said, leftover roast in here that I'll add to it, and then I will top it, put it on a bed of sorghum. And the reason I'm making a sauce, because usually I don't even need a sauce, is that the sorghum is a little bit bigger than a quinoa, and I feel like it needs a little bit of sauce or something to kind of soak it all up. Hey, Amy. So that's what we're making here. It's all based on leftovers or something I had done ahead of time. Now I do a lot of meal prep, but I don't always have it in the fancy containers and laid all out 7 meals all at once. Because when you have kids, you can't have 7 things in a row, or they will just like revolt on you. But I do make a lot at a time, and then we have leftovers, or I'll package them up for husband's work, things like that. So a couple things coming up. I do have a gluten-free group that I have open to anyone if you are interested in catching on some recipes or tips or recommendations. And that's just kind of an ongoing thing that I'll have. I discovered how to make my super secret granola without oats. It took me a while, did some research, but I figured that out. So we'll be sharing that next week in a video and in the group as well. And also coming up, I have registration for my June fitness and accountability group. So if you'd like in on that, you can comment below or message me about that too. It's not too late to start small things, guys. Habits, healthy cooking. The kids are coming home. Let me just be a little bit real with you here. The other day I was kind of having a moment by myself because I was like, oh my gosh, summer is coming. And everyone's like, wow, summer, I love summer. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, summer is coming. When you have 4 kids and schedules and things to balance, sometimes summer can be stressful. And so for me, who is big into routine, summer kind of eats away at my little routine, and so I'm working on that. And so meal prep is going to be key in the summer, and vegetable prep too. So if you want some tips on that, stay tuned. Like I said, next week the granola. Week after that I have an accountability group. So if you want any recipes or any specifics, please let me know. And here's to warmer spring days ahead.